Hello, my name is Ed. Oh, let me just put my thing down. Um, I am in Venice, Florida. It's Tuesday. What the heck day is it? March 28th, 2022. I had to take the day off from teaching school today. I teach at a tech school. I teach machine shop for people to be machinists. And I needed to get some lumbar shots under anesthesia, and I had to get some stitches out of my shin that I created 10 days ago, so it was a good time to get all that done. But I was actually contemplating something. I am from the New England area. I grew up outside of north of Boston in the Burlington, Woburn, Massachusetts area, and around my 40s, I think, I moved to, no, late 30s, I moved to New Hampshire. I lived in Dover, New Hampshire for a while, and then I lived quite a while in Manchester, New Hampshire. And in 2005, decided to move to Florida, right down here. We had a house built down here in 2003 and moved here in 2005. It was going to be our retirement home for the future, buy at old prices, but we just decided just to move here. My topic is really about visiting people, us visiting other people and other people visiting us. When I had moved to New Hampshire, an hour north of where most of my family is and some of my friends, I found I did not see many people up there. Was kind of on us, especially on family, to go visit them. Now, we don't have children, so that I know when you have kids, it's time consuming and can be a big effort to go anywhere. So it was on us to visit the family, whether it's Christmas or birthdays, anything like that. So it was really like probably a 90-10 ratio easily. My father encountered that once when where I live way up here, that's fine. He's been up here once or twice in Manchester, New Hampshire. And my sister was about an hour away. My brother's probably about 2 hours away. But my father, when we grew up, we had two families. My father's side of the family and my mother's side of the family. And I think by tendency, you can't, depending on how large your family is, who do you visit the most? And so we tend to lean towards the mother side of my family as far as like what we did things together. Like, even though we did, do stuff with my father's side of the family, and I think that applied to other relationships as I grew up with my siblings and stuff. But as far as myself, now that we moved to Florida, obviously we're way far away, so I don't really expect people to come flying down here to visit. But then in retrospect, if I go up north, which I'm really going on vacation, but I kind of go up there to visit people but I'm on vacation, so I don't really have the time to visit everybody you can think of. You got to pick a select few. And that sort of applies to other people on vacation. We're in Florida, it's a vacation state. We have people that we know that come down this way, and they're on vacation. I understand that, and they can't hey, we'll come over and say hi. We're over in Disney, which is 2 hours away. That's quite a travel. Or you're in Jacksonville, you're in Miami, which is it's a big state. It takes about 4 hours to get to the Georgia border plus from where we are at. And we're not in the southernmost tip of the state. If you were down in Naples, that would be like 6 hours just to get to the Georgia-Florida border. And another time we used to drive to Atlanta when we were with the Drum and Bugle Corps down here, and that was took all day. I thought it was just up the road. Growing up in New England, everything is small states, and it didn't take long to get anywhere. If we said we were going to Cape Cod, it wasn't a big, cross-Atlantic journey. It wasn't that far to go. But here, it's a lot of distances. But I think people in different parts of the country are used to having to travel long or short distances. we knew a lot of people like that lived in the urban areas up north, and especially black people that I knew. They had family in North Carolina, and they would think nothing of hopping on their motorcycles and just going south to visit family. They were like that. I really admire them. They would be in Boston and like, we're going to go visit Uncle so-and-so or Aunt so-and-so. We're going to do a family get-together. Boom, they just flew right down there. So when I go north, I do try to visit. It's for myself also, not just for other people. But then I kind of expected in return somebody hopefully would come to see us. We're still working. I'm probably going to enter my last year of working before retirement. So some of my friends are retired and they have all the time in the world to do things. And some people are still working. So as far as I'm very busy all the time, I have hobbies that take up a lot of my time. I've redid that again. I used to be in a competitive or a marching drum and bugle corps, so we had to do practice the drums, do events, stuff like that. We don't do that anymore. I used to drag race motorcycles. I'm actually doing that again now, which requires I have to build engines and I kind of make them into projects for the school. But that's time consuming, and travel to go to races and stuff like that. But it's actually, that's a circle of friends also that we only see at those events. And the same thing with the drum and bugle corps thing. When we used to travel to a performance, those friends we only met at those events, but we look forward to that. Same thing with school. I've had a lot of students come through the school, and I develop relationships with them, and some come back and visit. I hope, but later on I do find out I may have made an impression on them. So just for them to come back once, I remember one student that he got hired from Tesla in Nevada. He was coming back to visit family, but he came back and saw me. I thought I was very impressed with that he did that. Or when I was working in Manchester, New Hampshire, I had a boss named Bill Lobdell. He was a great guy. He was my second shift boss, and he was going to retire, so he wanted me to take over. So I applied to take over, and I took over for a while. But he had been south, and I think he was visiting his brother 2 towns away, and he came all the way over to visit us. I thought, and later on when he ended up getting cancer, and he had moved to Augusta, Maine, I made sure I visited him. So, and I'm glad I did that. I have other friends another friend now that got me into motorcycle drag racing on the machining end, Rick and his wife Arlie. And I just saw a picture the other day of them in front of my house in front of the Boston Red Sox flag. And I didn't realize it was 8 years ago, but they came out of their way and they visited us. I really liked that. The same thing that, he's got some medical issues now, and we hope the best for him. But at some time, we're all going to go by. So you want to get your visits in as you can. I did have a friend that we used to play in the same drum and bugle corps drum line that lived north of Tampa, about 2 or 3 hours. And we visited him, I think when we first moved here over 15 years ago. And we saw his house, but I always meant to go back, But I thought in return, it's it should be both ways, If I go to visit somebody, hopefully they'll come and visit me, I don't try to measure everything by that, but at some point it's time consuming for me, especially when I don't have a lot of extra time. But I do enjoy doing it. And sometimes it's a little bit of an obligation too, to be friends with your family and friends with your friends, So anyway, just a little thought on that. I was looking at some videos, and I think they were high-level videos, why do people hate you, or why don't some people support me? But this is really not about support. This is your everyday general. We can get stuck in our own lives and stay at home. And the COVID really didn't have that much of an effect, but it does have an effect that we started becoming very isolated and very just stay in our little circle, our little radius of our world, and watch TV all the time, play on the computer, but to get out of the house, and you try to make friends. I'll tell you, in my Florida neighborhood in particular, I know that doesn't apply to all Florida neighborhoods, They're very transient, kind of, where people move in for a couple years and leave. Some are snowbirds who are only here a couple of months. Sometimes it's hard to develop relationships. But I remember when I had a house up in Manchester, New Hampshire, it's not like I knew everybody in the neighborhood, so it's kind of like the trend. But if you go to like a retirement community here, 55 up retirement community, they tend to be very involved. You can be very involved. You can choose not to be, but you can be very involved. All right, I'm way past the 10-minute mark. I'm just going to cut it short. Just my thoughts on life, okay? Talk to you later.